Anyway, ladies and not ladies, welcome. Let's talk about toothbrushing. So, I'm Romeo. You can find me on Twitter as Maltsemev. This presentation will contain typos. So, have you ever been to a hotel? Please, yes, you have been to a hotel. Have you ever remarked that most hotels in most countries, that is less true in Asia, but in most countries, most hotels lack toothpaste. Right. It got on my nerves. That's something that bothers me. Because toothpaste is something I use every day, and hopefully something you use every day. And it's lacking in most hotels. I was bothered by that. Like, hotels have shampoo, and hopefully you also use shampoo, but probably not every day. Hopefully. You shouldn't. If you're learning this right now, you should not use shampoo every day, mostly. And so like, they have shampoo, they have after shampoo, right? Like, how to say this in English? Like, cream. The conditioner, they have conditioners. Most luxury hotels will have shower caps. I never use shower caps, but I get it. Some people do. They have like milks for your body and things like that, but they don't have toothpaste. Why? Right, it's a mystery. So, like most mysteries, I looked in the internet to see if my ancestors had looked for the answers to that mystery. And it so happens that for most hotels, what makes the difference between success and failure is three things. One is location. Like, most people don't go to a hotel for the hotel. They go to a hotel to visit some place, right? Like Athens, for example, right? So once you build about your hotel at that location, you're not changing that much. So that's like a set parameter for you, right? Then there are reviews, like reviews online, like Yelp or TripAdvisor and things like that, right? And mostly, people don't leave bad notes just because you don't have toothpaste. Which, why not? Start today. Start leaving bad notes to hotels because they lack toothpaste. Maybe this will change, right? Please, if you only keep one thing from this talk, is start leaving bad notes to hotels because they lack toothpaste. Let's do this together. And mostly people don't leave bad notes out of a lack of toothpaste because they are used to lacking toothpaste. But like, since 2001, for reasons, flying became more difficult, and you have a set amount of liquid you can bring with you, and you're always bagging toothpaste with you. And you're not bagging shampoo mostly, because you know you will have there, right? You just got used to that. So I looked in the internet. The third reason why hotels have things, like what they ask for success, is having stars, having a set list of things that they care about so that they become, they have better notes, better grades. And there is a hotel association that gives a list of things you should have. That list contains a lot of stuff. Contains like the size of a bathtub, right? Contains shampoo, conditioner, and things like that, creams. It doesn't contain toothpaste. So that's the solution to the mystery. That list does not contain toothpaste. Yeah? Now, that solved the question, but now it opened a new question for me. Why does that list lack toothpaste? Right? It lacks toothpaste because the list was created statistically. The people that created the list look at hotels and were noting what the hotels had. It was a description. So, the descriptive versus the prescriptive. The list was created as a description of reality. The best hotels have this. And is instantly treated as a prescription. To be a good hotel, I should have this. Right? Ever seen that little discrepancy there? Like, I'm not saying that prescriptions are bad. I'm not saying that descriptions are bad. But have you ever seen a description being treated as a prescription in your life? Outside of hotels? No? Ever been agile transformation? Okay, or people doing craft, or something like, okay. So, ever saw a maturity model? Like, people go into companies and they start describing what good looks like, and they create a maturity chart. And it's mostly created by things we saw in teams that we found good, right? That's it. That's mostly it. And then it instantly becomes the thing we should do to be good. Right? Ever saw that? That specific tension there? It becomes the definition of good, definition of what should be good, instead of what we saw as good. And was always created as things we saw as good in people. So, the matter becomes, why? Why we do that? We all do that, but why do we do that? Why do we look into things that were descriptions and we turn them into prescriptions? Like this is not something only the others do. You also do it. I also do it. We always do it. Why we do that? And that's the topic of today, the subject of today's talk. Am I, just look into this before we just started. Am I talking too quick, too French, am I understandable? Yeah, good. Just trying to figure that out. Now to get this out of the way. So, let's talk about toothbrushing. Ever heard of the modified bass technique? No, right, like normal people, you're not looking into different techniques of how to brush your teeth, right? Right. So there is a whole lot of people that are looking into better ways of brushing their teeth. And those people, they come up with techniques, and they give names to those techniques. Right? Any coincidence with things like TDD or Agile or Scrum of DevOps or things like that are purely intentional. And so those people, they have a skill, they try to improve it, and in trying to improve it, they find specific techniques that they share with each other on how to improve them, right? And you probably don't care. And I'm not saying you should care. This is just an example. Not trying to convince you to change how you brush your teeth at all. Right? But every single skill can be improved. There is no skill you have that you could not improve. It's a matter of deciding what you want to prioritize. Maybe you don't want to prioritize brushing teeth as a skill you want to improve. There is this book I love by Mortimer Adler. It's called How to Read a Book. And it is a very, very beautiful book about reading as a skill you could improve lifelong. Adler, he says, I see people treating reading as something that is done, that you achieved total maturity, right? They achieve that as childs, like you learn to learn as a child, and learn to read as a child, and that was it. Like you could not improve it lifelong. But you can always improve things for life. Just decided to stop improving that. And that's a choice, a fine choice, but it should be a conscious one. I'm not saying that you should try to improve every single skill for life. Just say that you should be mindful of the skills you choose not to improve under the illusion that they could not be improved. Those are different things, right? Are we good? Yeah. So every single skill could be improved, and maybe it's not worth it for you. That's different. By the way, have you ever heard of a dental kit? So, if you go to a hotel and you ask for a dental kit at the reception, they will give you something like this. It is a little toothbrush, throwable one, with a little toothpaste inside a box. That's the answer to the fact they don't have toothpaste in the rooms, right? Every hotel has that. Did you know that? No, right. Every hotel has that. So, every skill can be improved forever. There is no end state. The only end state is death. Like, it's like being an adult. There is no trophy of now you are it, right? Maturity is ever long. Like, you from today will look at the version of you of 10 years ago and will find that person naive. And the version of you from 10 years now will look for you today and find that person naive, right? If you accept that, then every skill can be improved. So you're not looking in the internet for how to improve your reading technique. You're not looking on the internet for how to improve your toothbrushing technique. It's not something you're worried about now today. One question is, are you not worried about that because you think it cannot be improved, or we're not looking into that because you're not, like, it's not your priority? That's a different situation to be. You cannot care about everything. You cannot care about every single skill you use. You use a lot of skills every day. You do not have an infinite span of attention, an infinite span of care, right? Not asking you I want you to remember during this whole talk that I'm not asking you to care about every single detail of everything. Are we good on that? Good. So, did you know that if you spit away when you brush your teeth, and you don't rinse your teeth, it's actually better. Like rinsing your teeth reduces the amount of fluor in your mouth, right? Okay? Right. So you actually want like to brush, spit, and not rinse, not put water, just leave there. Yeah? It's doing one thing less. And doing one thing less could be improving. Did you know that? You know that? Right? Do you do that? We will do this now. So, probably not, right? Probably not. So this is like a small, measurable thing that you could do to improve a skill, an everyday skill, right? That small, measurable thing. Let's give it a catchy name. Let's call it Rinseless-Brushing, or RLB, yeah? Now, you start advocating to people to rinseless brush, or call this TDG or BDG or DevOps. I don't care. You get the gist, right? Right. You start advocating for people to rinseless brush because you want things to be better. And the whole gist is that you want to reduce decay, tooth decay and things like that. You want to increase healthiness, right? That's your better right now, increasing healthiness. And then the companies start hiring you to be the RLB, the rinseless-brushing person, yeah? So you are the rinseless-brusher. And that's not bad. And maybe you say, this is weird. I'm like, rinseless-brushing is just a very small thing about toothbrushing. Toothbrushing itself is not everything about teeth health, and teeth health is not everything about health in general. But why not, right? It makes for an entrance. It makes for a place where you can start doing good, right? Like you are identified as the rinseless-brushing person, but like the heart is in a good place, and you can just do anything else. Yeah? Okay? Okay. And then you enter a company, and people have severe tooth decay. They never rinse never like wash their teeth at all. They're not brushing altogether. Teeth are missing. Any coincidence with real life is purely intentional. Right? Do you see what I'm talking about? Right. Have you ever heard of surfacing? Of course you haven't. Like, so when you go like every 6 months, right, to your dentist, you take some tartar out, right? Yeah? Hopefully. And that's enough usually. You don't need anything deeper. But if you don't brush your teeth for a whole while, a lot of whiles, maybe you start getting enough tartar that just removing like you do in your with your dentist is no longer enough. So you need a deeper thing. We call that surfacing, radial surfacing. And it's something that you probably never will need in your life, hopefully. But like, goes deeper. It needs anesthesia and goes deeper to take it out, right? So now you say, oh, okay, I know I told you we should do rinseless-brushing, but actually we should be brushing. Actually brushing, let's start with a surfacing and like removing some teeth. Right? Start using techniques that you only need in situations that are dire, and you usually don't need at all if things are maintained at all. Right? Make sense? And then you start compromising, right? Because rinseless-brushing, this was created by people that were really doing these things really well and trying to improve a little bit. And then people are asking you to do these things there, saying, how can rinseless-brushing help my company do better? And you say, hey, let's start brushing teeth all together. Right? Right. Dreaming about that, and it's just like, let's go to this baseline. I'm not trying to insult your clients when I say this. It's just like being realistic about where we are, right? Ever saw that in your companies? Right. Maybe your company needs to lose a few teeth. Do some surfacing, right? Okay. And then you start being like this real or awful person. Everybody hates you. Like your company wanted you to bring rinseless-brushing. The fellow rinseless-brushers aficionados, they see the things you're proposing and say, what the fuck? Like, oh, this was not what I wanted. Like, not picking fights here, like, oh, that's strange. Like, you start like proposing things that seem insane to everybody involved. Like it's compromises over compromises over compromises. Like taking care of things that are very, very difficult to everybody involved because people are in a very dire situation, using techniques that you should not need because usually people are not lacking teeth. And everybody that cares about teeth brushing looks at you and say, what the fuck? And everybody that doesn't care say, should you not just be doing rinseless-brushing right now? Why are you proposing this whole complex? Everybody thinks what you're proposing is too complex because the inherent complexity is in the company itself. Maybe. Does it ring a bell? Okay, okay. So, then you start advocating to create the situation where people can brush teeth altogether. And you maybe there are many reasons for that. I'm not trying to reduce everything to a single cause. There is no root cause in a complex system, right? But just like picking one to go with this talk, if that's okay with you. I'm not saying it's the only reason why that happens. Just saying it's one reason why that happens, okay? So maybe people are not brushing their teeth because, I don't know, they spend the whole day creating features after features and like everything is decided for them and they do not think at all. Never thinking about what's happening to them, the pains they live, what they wanted to do, what things would mean. Because that's wasting time. Maybe that won't be one reason, yeah? All right. Not say it's the only possible one. So if I drill down on that specific reason, right? If I go deeper on that, it becomes the question I have in the beginning again. Why do we treat the descriptive as prescriptive? Why do we allow ourselves to be in a system that forces us to not think and just follow and just do? Why? And there are many reasons for that why. I will zoom into one today. I am in Greece, so I'm giddy with the fact that this will be the only time I will write this word and people will get the word. Like actually, the first time was yesterday because I gave this talk in Greece yesterday. But like, that is the only place this could happen. So, to the non-Greeks in the audience, this is fear of pain, right? As a side note, it's a pure coincidence, no relationship whatsoever with algorithms. None. I kid you not. No relationship whatsoever. So algorithm comes from algorithm, which is the name of a guy that was named after the land of the dark soil, right? Dark soil. It is near Syria, Turkey, that area. And the land of the dark soil. Nothing to do with algos, the Greek word, ancient Greek word for pain. Same letters, totally different roots, totally different etymologies, just a coincidence, okay? So, the fear of pain. There are two awful dudes that wrote about this. I'm not condoning those awful dudes. I hate them, and it's just like, there's this meme, have you heard about the meme? Like, it's very sad, the worst person you know is right this time, right? Right. Right, heartbreaking. The worst person you know just made a great joke, like raised a great point and things like that, right? So I'm not saying that those people are good. I'm just saying they made a good point once. Okay? Is Nietzsche and Heidegger. So So they wrote about nihilism. And this is not a talk about nihilism, so I can only refer, if you want an intro to nihilism, there is the magnificent talk about Nolan Gertz called Nihilism and Technology that they should look into. You should totally look into. But like, Nietzsche would describe nihilism as we are wary of ourselves and we try to avoid ourselves. We try to flee from ourselves. It's the things we do in order to flee from ourselves. Yeah? We are in pain, we don't want to see the pain, so we try to do things to make the pain go away. We would want to go away from ourselves. Yeah? And there are 5 branches, 5 main mechanisms we have for that. I will not enter in those 5 mechanisms. I just zoom into one, which is mechanical activity. So mechanical activity happens in 2 different ways. Yeah? So, one way that mechanical activity happens is that I tire myself. I just work as a workhorse until I can no longer think. That's one way of fleeing yourself, right? It works. If you just work enough, you can go away, the thinking go away. Not looking into yourself goes away. And another way that you could flee yourself is I'm looking for a machine to take decisions for me. A machine or a process or a tool, right? Like machines in a very general way of saying this, right? So usually when I love processes. I really do love processes. I'm not kidding about this. Processes are awesome. A process will save your life once. Have saved your life already. Have already taken a plane in your life. Right. So airplane pilots, they'll have a lot of processes, checklists to say, hey, what am I doing right now, right? They do that because it reduces the number of crashes. Human brains are apes that have a high difficulty of repeating the same small things over and over and not creating mistakes. A process has literally saved your life. The World Health Organization spends millions trying to create very good processes for surgery, right? And there are tidbits in it like just counting the number of instruments I had before and after surgery to know if I have not forgot something inside the patient, for example, right? A process will reduce errors. A process will save your life. A machine is a useful thing. We are the apes of instrumentalization. Everything we do is use tools and machines. Look around you, try to find a single object that is not a tool. You will not find it. You will find something in the other room, like art pieces, but outside of that, everything else is a tool. The cherry one, a tool. Your clothes are tools. Things are used around, tools. Everything, tools. Yeah? You are the apes of instrumentalization. I'm not saying the tools are bad or processes are bad. I'm saying explicitly that sometimes you use them to flee yourselves, to run away from us. We try to defer choice to them, right? Any coincidence with what people are trying to hype with AI right now are purely intentional. And but you don't even need AI. Every time I try to show a process to a client, usually then the first problem I have is try to help them understand that the process will not preclude them from thinking. They cannot blindly follow the process and just achieve quality. Like, I love TDD, and yet, a lot of people that I teach TDD to, the first thing they want to is to be able to follow TDD and trust that this will give them good code. Right? Deep down, we yearn for this. Can we have a process that I can just follow and not think? Can I have a machine that could be my daddy? Yeah? And both of those together, this leads to a lot of avoidance. Yeah? And that's why the prescriptive comes. I'm not saying the prescriptions are bad. I'd say unconsciousness about why you going for prescription is bad. That's the thing here. Like, you could choose to say, this is descriptive, let's use it as prescriptive right now, but having consciousness why you're doing it, why you're prioritizing to do that, that would be a whole different game, right? The whole problem here is that usually we free ourselves in unconsciousness. That's part of the fleeing, right? The running away, yeah? Now, maybe right now, you're asking yourself, how can we solve this? Yeah? And the thing is, I want you to look deep inside you, and is that part of you that wants a solution? Does that part want me to bring you a process that you could follow to solve this? Like, because in the end of the day, that's it, right? If you find that part, you find the part of you right now that wants to do this with this. The recursion is there. Do you see the recursion? You see the problem of blindly following processes, and you want a process you could follow blindly in order to leave the problem of following blindly processes. Right? So we have a problem that has no shortcuts here. So what can we try, right? Like, okay, this is complex, what can we try? Right? One solution to many of people is like just go into the introspection of the whole pain of yourself right now a lot. And that could become nihilistic too, but I'll give that to Nolan's talk. You can look at this later, right? Everything can become nihilistic because we live in a nihilistic society. You were indoctrinated by nihilism since birth for many generations. Getting out of this is not like that. Every solution we will find to this problem, we will also have a level of corruption by this problem, right? So you are continuously try to work your way towards getting out of it, towards purifying it little by little. And I know we're finished all my talks proposing this solution. I'm sorry about that, but I actually believe in that. It's dangerous to go alone. You should probably start conspiring with people. Like, if you care about this, and you could find some people maybe in this room that also care about this, and want to like start thinking together about how can we do this. Maybe that could be a precious moment of conspiration that you could start creating. A group of people, trust group of people, inside your organization, inside your friends, inside your community, where you can like go in small groups and discuss and say, okay, here's what I think, here's what you think about, what is your outside perspective, and think about it. I don't have any better. And of course, that group will be infected by nihilism. That's part of it. That's part of it. There is no single process I can give you with that group that will just work. Because there is no end state of any maturity. Did you know that the two countries in the world, the United States and the UK, they believe that the dentist association of those two countries believe that going from brushing your teeth 3 times a day to 2 times a day is actually probably better, because they cannot measure the improvement of the 3rd time, but they can measure the impact on the teeth enamel of overbrushing, physical overbrushing itself. So the meta, what is the best practice, is ever evolving. You cannot sit yourself with your current understanding what is better. What was better before, for very normal reasons, becomes understood as less better afterwards. You can only keep discussing. So I don't have any easy solution to nihilism. I just say, I do not think we can solve it without connection, though. And that's what I ask you to try. Thank you very much. That's all I wanted to say.